Welcome back to the Money Tani video series. Now, we have got George the 6th for you this video. I'm very happy with the last one, which got up to over 100 views. I'm going to be changing my setup soon and getting some better equipment, so the days of these amateurishly named videos might be over. Now, in the last one, I showed you the difference between these half crowns and the ones of the previous reign, which look fairly similar. This is my proof one again. And incredibly, it's actually quite underweight for a proof, 0.15 of a gram underweight. Okay, and as you can see, this is the portrait we had of the new King George VI, the first clean-shaven king since William. The sort of Edwardian imperial beards are all gone, and definitely half the man his father was. He was quite a weak man and quite feeble and stuttered a lot, but he was a good king. Now again, this is a proof, so this is a nice one. The other big change in this era too was that the coins of the so-called white dominions, remember we're talking about the 1930s here, which was probably the high watermark of racism, of Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and Canada also had the king crownless. However, in all the other countries like Fiji, for instance, and Rhodesia, he had a crown because those were countries with high numbers of natives, and it was there to remind them who was the boss, the big white Mzungu, as the Kenyans would say. But anyway, moving along, this is 37. The design didn't change, it's Kruger Grey again, and again we're playing up the shields. We've got the conjoined Georges, the crowns. I don't know why this camera keeps focusing and not focusing. Well, like I said, technology changes are coming soon. Now, a bit of reflection there. Now, I'm going to go through the whole series, and I've got a couple of little surprises towards you towards the end. The bulk of these coins are high grade, I can tell you now. A few of them aren't, but they've got some nice ones here. The first one, I've also got a 37 circulation coin. Now you might notice something different about this coin. It's not proof, but someone has polished it and dipped it. You'll actually see it's quite worn. Not so much on that side, but when you look at George, you can clearly see he's quite flat. And this coin was probably not even VF, but someone's tried to make it look like it's uncirculated, which is quite terrible. 37 was actually not a common year. 38 was the scarcest year, and I've actually got a very, very high grade example for 38. These are circulation coins, but as you can see, they were made to a high standard. Remember, 38 is before World War II, so you've still got, this is a prosperous era, well, compared to the rest of the 30s. And this is another very high-grade piece. I'm trying not to clunk them too much because they make loud noises on the video. You see, that's probably, again, AU. Most of these AU, they look uncirculated, but most EF AU because they do have light rubbing wear. Okay, 39, that's another very nice piece, very high grade. Yep, and this one actually weighs a full amount. Yep, this is AU, again, because there is, apparently, if you look closely, there is some light wear on the coin. Yep, 1940, we see the start of World War II. It started in late 39, but we don't know when in 39 that coin was minted. And again, we've got another very high grade piece. This one I marked a bit lower because you can see some clear wear on the lower cheeks. But still, I think I gave it high EF, high EF, which is still nice, as you can see, 1940. But they actually, because of the Americans lending them silver, they actually minted more half crowns during this wartime era, and I think 44 was the highest number before the big mintage of 48. That's 41, that's another coin which is almost uncirculated. Again, got that really nice shine. I got all these very cheaply about 5 years ago. 42 is the one coin which I've actually given a full uncirculated rating for. So this is what an uncirculated half crown from 80 years ago looks like. I don't know what's going on with this camera today. It's just having real difficulty focusing. Yeah. Oh well. That's what you get there. I just had to see the clunk noise. There you are. So you can see that's a very high grade. I can't actually see any wear on that, but then again, maybe I'm going blind. But there are definitely these, even though they're not really circulated, these coins, they do have a lot of contact marks because they were heavy silver coins and they did kind of hit things a lot. Okay, 43. Now these coins, this is clean. This is not quite on the level of all the others. This is high VF. Again, you can't really tell much detail on this because this was such a sharp, protected design. But if you look on the other side, usually the way to tell wear on all these half crowns is look at George C. You've got hair detail, but you've got the clear flattening along the top ridge of the hair. The cheeks are quite flat. And that's how you can tell a VF from an uncirculated coin. Then 44, another sort of not quite on the top level quality. It's still a nice coin though. This is a bit more VF-y, as you can see. There's a wee bit of light wear there, but still above average and an attractive coin to have in your collection. You can see that's your standard VF piece. So you've got the sort of, you can still see all the hair detail, but it's very flat on top, and still, I mean, that's a nice coin. I mean, I have that in my collection. I think it was cheap, it was only about $15. None of these coins are expensive or hard to get. And then we come to 1945, the end of the war, and again I present to you an extremely nice example. Now, all the luster on these coins, apart from the 43 and 44, is natural. These are not clean. See, there's just a little spot there below the king, but this is another, yep, virtually uncirculated I gave this one, yep, so virtually means it's not quite uncirculated, but it's better than AU. You know, I think it's just one of those terms, the Yanks refer to them as sliders, like Slider Morgan dollars, for instance. 46, now this is another extremely high grade piece. Now look at that, isn't that beautiful? And 46 was the last year of silver coinage in the UK. And as you can see, that's a coin I think I gave, yeah, virtually uncirculated. It looks like there is some rubbing in the hair just above the ear, but that could also be shade too. As you can see, I'm not really seeing much. It's got the usual light contact marks on the cheek. But again, some of this could also be strike too. I mean, the striking wasn't perfect in this era, but still, I mean, that's an outstanding coin. I think everybody would agree there. And then we move to 1947, and what happens in that year is the Yanks want their silver back, because the Yanks loaned millions of ounces of silver so the British could keep minting these coins, and the Brits had to start paying back their loans to the Yanks. So they had to start minting the coins in copper and nickel, and it's important because it also affected the coins minted in New Zealand, Fiji, Seychelles, Mauritius, and several other colonies directly related to Britain. It did not affect the coins in Australia, Canada, or South Africa because they had their own supplies of silver, and they all minted their coins in silver until much later, although the Australians dropped from sterling to half in 46, and the South Africans dropped from 80% down to 50% in 1951. The Canadians, sort of under the whole American umbrella and having mountains full of silver, stayed at 80% silver right through to 1967. But this is 47. Now, 99% of half-crowns from 1947 to 51, because 52 is another story, we'll talk about that soon, are an average VF to fine condition, meaning that the coins are, you can still see a lot of detail, but they're just very cloudy and very dull. You can buy high-grade examples like this. This particular coin here it's AU. I mean, it's shiny and nice, but you can still see that sort of light contact wear that plagues all my other George VI half-crowns. You've got the light wear on the hair. You've got a cell phone camera that doesn't work very well because I'm too cheap to go out and buy decent equipment. I'd rather spend it on coins. And basically, even to get one in this condition, you know, they're not expensive. I mean, this only cost me like about $20, but look at that. You normally don't see a 47 that nice. But straight away, you can see the difference between silver and copper and nickel and the way how the coins appear when new. See how the silver is much more whiter and brighter, whereas the copper and nickel is a bit sort of darker and greyer, even in high grade. Now 48, this is the most common year of half-crown made, 71 million. And as I said in Bits and Bob's video, my one is a superior example in AU condition, so look at that. Nice and shiny, about the same grade as the 47. I think I got the 47 after the 48, so these are what high grade ones look like. But just for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I can show you some lower grade examples. My 49 is very average, but this is better average. Now this is a high VF. This is about as good as you're going to get them for a standard coin, only costing, I don't know, say £1 or something. This is what most of them typically look like. As you can see, you've got the clear wear there. I mean, that's still VF because you can still make out his hairline and stuff, but that's definitely an average coin, basically. 1950, as you can see, once they got rid of the indent, they made the letters bigger, and it makes the coins look just cheaper and nastier, in my opinion. Again, this is another VF example. I mean, you can get them down to VG, but if I'm going to buy average coins, I'm going to make sure I've got average quality examples. That's a full VF. I think the 49 might have been a high fine. You can see there's still a wee bit of recessed luster there, but not much. And 51, the last commonly available date. Again, mine's a slightly above average example, but you'd still find it in an average pile of half-crowns from this era. Year of the Festival of Britain, you can get proof ones as well. Yep, and again, this is another VF coin, although I'll probably put that down to good fine because there is a lot of wear on that bust. Okay. 52, they only minted 7, only one's been found in circulation, so naturally I don't have one. But I'm going to show you a couple of surprises now. When I bought a whole lot of old half-crowns a couple of years ago off a British guy, he actually sent me this as a joke. This is what your standard 47 looks like, but I just want to show you guys something funny. You know, I talked about opening up coins? Feast your eyes on this. Someone cut this apart with a jigsaw years ago. He gave it to me for free, so you can actually see what a half crown looks like on the inside. It's actually not a copper biscuit at all. It's the same way the whole way through. Someone's tried to put a drilled rim in it to make it look like one of those old Hong Kong dollars, but there you are. Here is a mutilated half crown. Might I endorse too? I am not endorsing the destruction of coins. This came to me in this state. I know some royalists will be probably crying right now, but isn't it hilarious? And finally, another treat for you. 1950 and 51 they made proof coins. And I've managed to get a stray 1950 proof half crown. This is from the mid-century set. So what do you guys think of that? That is a proof, you know, a copper nickel proof. Now the 51s, now the 1950s are like this. They're not frosted. They are mirrored, but they're not frosted. Whereas the 51 set, the proofs are frosted. I don't have a 51 proof half crown, but I do have a 51 proof florin. And of course I've got the proof like Festival of Britain crown. So as you can see there, that's a very nice coin again. No wear there, but again, because of the contact marks, you do definitely see a bit of contact with the, again, that very high point of the cheek. Because as you can see with George, just this part of the cheek right here is extremely high relief. And that's always where you're going to get the first wear along with this part here. Even though he was a scrawny man, he did have sort of chubby cheeks. And also the top of his hair here. I mean, it's a great portrait by Humphrey Paget. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, lots of detail, especially compared to the vague headlines of his father and grandfather. So there you are. That is what a proof. Well, this is probably an impaired proof because it's a bit cloudy. But it's definitely not got anywhere. But this is a proof 1950 half crown. Now, so that brings the story to an end. Elizabeth II, I'm not really going to do a video about that because I just don't really consider her coins that nice. I mean, I might do a big video in the end where I just talk about all of Elizabeth's decimal stuff. So I'm just going to ignore her. And the next video is I'm going to start talking about my shillings. And we are going to go right back in time. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go back to the 16th century. So there you are. That's Money Tani, and thanks for watching my video.